Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Canada Cup Season 7. We've got our big, bad best of three of the night. Friendship, dedication, and love facing off against Team Shazam. FDL hot over their win against Not Today. We'll see if they can carry that momentum into this heated best of three where Shazam are the pretty big favorites, at least over on Dota 2 Lounge. I'm Zyori, joined in this series by GrandGrant as well as Lurka Derp on stats. Grant, my man, how you feeling coming into our big series tonight? Grant, you're still muted. Oh, no.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, feeling good, feeling good. I meant to stay muted. I just want to keep you on top of your toes so that we're
Good.
both in tip-top shape here.
Well, good. Now that we've established that, what are you thinking here, Shazam, FDL? Who's got the edge? Let's look at the actual numbers here. Let's get the final tally. 84% Shazam, 17% FDL. What are we thinking? Are these numbers feeling on point?
I think Shazam's the favorite, but I mean, SVG's gone. I know a lot of those bettors don't really watch the game. They play their own statistics and
Numbers.
I mean,
It's all about the
really
numbers.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, they are using a stand. I would say it's more like 60-40 for Shazam. I think FDL's a really good team, but I think the stand-in Pandego, very good. Old player for E-Hug, multiple other teams. I know he was the substitute for Narvi too, and he's been.
Well,
shouted
he's done
out
some
by,
coaching too. That's the real real power of the Pandego. I mean, I'm sure he's still been keeping up with his mechanics, but he's a studious brain. If you ever met him and hung out with him, he's a serious kind of guy. He doesn't fuck around.
Yeah, he is, and he has that voice though, that voice that you just can't put your finger on. You're like, why do you make me not want to live anymore? He's got that voice, and I love Jared. He's a nice guy, and I mean, if you've seen, even Arteezy calls him Jared Fletcher God on Twitter often, so you know he's a player.
That Arteezy respect. I mean, that's really what NA Dota is all about.
It is. And the interesting picks already. Phoenix goes through the first ban and pick phase unscathed.
Absolutely. And Wisp Tiny, the opener for Shazam. I haven't seen too much Wisp in general. I feel like that's a hero that's become so niche on this patch where there's still some teams that run it. There's still a couple of matchups where you might see it first picked, first banned, but in general, the Wisp is not super popular right now. So Shazam maybe showing a little bit of their confidence here. Wisp Tiny. They'll have to play that into a Doom Timbersol, though. Two heroes that are very good against this particular duo.
Yeah, and I'm assuming it's probably going to be a Pandego Wisp, and usually it's a TC Tiny, but this might be a Mojo Tiny, just for the fact that Pandego and MSS were actually on their first team together, the Dark Falco stack, and they used to play this combo actually quite a bit. So I think we might be seeing something like that, and it's one of those things where you kind of want to surprise your opponent. Like, the Phoenix is still in the pool. Like, Doom was picked, and they're like, oh, they're going to pick Phoenix. And instead, just an IO Tiny out of nowhere on you.
Yeah.
And then you get Timbersod, who his Whirling Death is very good for both those heroes.
It's true, though I think, honestly, the Wisp Tiny fits in the playstyle in this meta pretty well. It gives you a lot of that sustainability, kind of like we talked about in our best of one. It's pretty important right now. And it's all about team fighting. And we've seen Tiny Wisp really excel in those kind of games. Sure, they need a little bit of farm early on. Tiny needs a little bit of space to work on those stacks in the jungle, get up those core items. But once he gets a Blink Dagger, man, it's open season. He's going to be moving around, looking for pickoffs, picking on those squishy supports once they get picked up. I think this could work for Shazam, and it's pretty adaptable. They could put this mid. That's probably the pretty standard way to do it, but there ain't no shame in going with a safe lane Tiny. It could happen.
Yeah, I think both teams have decent openers and owns a true advantage here. I think it depends where Shazam goes with their next carry core. I mean, IO Tiny, most likely middle. We've seen it in safe lane a couple times, but
I hope they go Spectre Zeus.
I really don't know what's wrong with you sometimes, Andrew. I love seeing Medusa and Spectre. Honestly, some of the funnest Dota I can watch.
Ooh, Venomancer. He's a fun hero. Has anyone picked Lich recently?
Actually, yeah. I think Team Freedom plays it. That's the perfect Juby hero, because he's just a scumbag. And that's like the Lich hero is just perfect for that.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about casting C Dota, at least in C Kappa, is that you have like the invited teams with the regional teams. So every so often you get these matchups where teams will just be like, no, this is our hero. We first pick it, and it's always interesting to see some.
Just a Spectre first pick. Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, you guys aren't afraid. All right, more power to you. Let's see what you got. You know, it gets pretty wild. All right, what do we got here? Bane for Shazam. All right, good lane support. We were talking about how good Brain Sap was or is in the last game, so I guess we'll see if it lives up to the hype here. High expectations, Bane. Let's see this.
And Bane's just really good, especially level 1 and 2, because it's most likely going to be dual lanes because you have the IO Tiny. So you just want to have a Bane running around. His level 1 Brain Sap is the best like trading ability in Dota. Like you just run at someone, you do peer damage to them, and you heal yourself. It's a pretty good double-edged sword.
Yeah, now Lifestealer for FDL. Pretty good with the Timber Saw. You know, just Timber Chain on in, get your Infest Bomb going. 2 strength heroes, so good chance that Whirling Death is going to be lowering some HP pools. Good pick here.
Yeah, I always like a Lifestealer, except versus a Void. I was actually talking to Stan King messaged me after, no, CCNC messaged me after the game, and he's like, man, I can't believe they had to pick the Invoker to counter the PL to counter my Invoker, but PL just does nothing versus Void. And I think Lifestealer's kind of the same way. We saw the Void just zoned Lifestealer and PL out, but this game, he's looking a lot better.
Yeah, definitely. Can go blow for blow with the Tiny, destroys the Wisp, and pretty good against Bane. Although I guess you could also say Bane is pretty good against a Lifestealer. Fiend's Grip goes through the Rage, so it's kind of
whoever initiates on who, it's good for.
Clockwork for Shazam.
Okay. I don't know if you've been seeing SCA Dota, but it's been made quite the resurgence in NA with Moo has been playing it a lot in his games versus Complexity, and I believe Ike's Mike even played it once, so it's coming back.
Okay. Ever since the cogs went from squares to circles, everyone's been like, ew, Clockwork. He's a circle kind of guy. I'm not into that. Everyone hates the circles.
I mean, I think that was a pretty unnecessary change, but I don't think it's that big. It's one of those things people thought was a big deal. I don't think it really is.
Was there anything else changed about him? Because it really seemed like that was the thing that made him fall out. Before that, he was like first pick, first ban.
They lowered his like strength gain, which actually was pretty big for a Clockwork who already gets blown up in fights after he goes in.
Yeah. Lion now for FDL, the support that really needs no introduction on this patch. I think he is like the ubiquitous support in every region across every meta that they're like, yeah, Lion's pretty good. Good support. He's got everything.
Yeah, Lion's one of the best, like, ever.
Destroys illusions, blink hex initiation, great AoE stun, huge burst damage. And honestly, his Ag's upgrade lets him scale pretty well towards the late game. 20-second cooldown on that ult is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. I don't think we've ever seen. I think I've seen one picked up. It is. And look, you have a Doom Timbersaw Lifestealer. I'm not sure Lion will ever find that farm.
Yeah, probably.
But
not.
You can believe.
Hey,
I
it's
like
happened.
believing.
I've seen it a couple times. Once or twice.
Hope is the dessert of life. Or is it the appetizer? I don't know.
It's the reason the Hunger Games happened.
And honestly, the Hunger Games, that was a good movie series.
I
don't know where you thought I was going with that, but
I thought you were just gonna go, really? That's what you got, the Hunger Games? But that's what he says. That's the whole thing. It's all about hope. They could just kill people, but you got to give them the hope that they could win, and then it's something to reach for. The human condition.
Yeah, but if you actually reached for a star and grabbed one, it would just sear your hand straight off. I mean, stars are like billions of degrees.
But what's better,
hot,
Fast and Furious or the Songbird?
Oh, hey, there you go.
Whoa, there he is. My favorite, Fist My Wish. This is the guy.
It is, and it's an offlane Doom. That means so. This is.
I mean, come on, Lich Doom. It's a deadly offlane, dude. That's a scary matchup.
No,
still.
It actually kind of is. I
still,
like the
kind
Lich
of.
pick.
It is definitely.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, no, I'm thinking more of the late game. Tiny versus Ice Armor is really good for the Lich.
Yeah,
it's gonna be hard to kill that. Those bases,
yeah.
Now we're seeing different. Man, Clockwork, Necro, and Lich in one game.
Yeah, this is way different actually. So it's going to be a Mojo Necro. Interesting.
So I was wrong. Yeah, I think Mojo almost requested that one. Like that's one of those heroes. your player has to request. You don't just pick it as a captain like, oh, Necro.
Yeah. Necro is pretty out of vogue right now, though I think he's still honestly pretty good. He's one of the best late game heroes you can grab. If you get Ag's Refresher, that is some game-winning shit right there.
No, it is. You just hit an ult on one person, the game could just end there.
Yep.
Damn, and look at Jason doing the
wow,
the CC&C himself.
That's good. I'm glad it's infectious. You know, it's had an effect on the community at large. Now everybody is wishing blessed days upon one another.
It is true. I like how the NA scene's grown too. I think most teams are friends now, and maybe besides DC versus Complexity. I think those two teams don't like each other anymore. But the rest of them, I mean, like those Necro picks, you don't really see it in any other scene. But Mason loves it, Biza loves it, and apparently MSS wants to play it. So it's interesting.
Dude, look at this, man. FDL, we got some Soylent fans over here. Looks like CCNC is a big fan.
Yeah, MSS gets it.
Yeah, MSS is going to fuel up after this series. Some of the nectar of the gods, that's good. Soylent literally saved. Oh, that's GrandGrant. Good.
That's yeah, but this is a big match. Doesn't the winner of this go on to play Complexity?
God,
that's not a fun win to have.
Let's take a look here, Grant. I know there was going to be a pop quiz, but I happen to have this bracket here. So it looks like there's a Drag Neil Digital Chaos game in the upper bracket. Okay. So lower, it looks like...
Oh, no, they play the winner. They play Freedom.
They play Freedom. Yeah, that's going to be Lucchini versus Evernova play Complexity.
Oh, that is...
So,
the Lucchini versus Evernova, that's actually pretty... That's like the battle of open bracket teams. Those two teams have played so many times in open. ESL Frankfurt, the Shanghai, they play in every open qualifier versus each other. Now they get to prove themselves in an actual tournament against each other.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I didn't really know much about Lucchini until I saw them. I think it was actually in the opening day, Group A.
I think I casted it with you.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
They look pretty good, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, the Sword. I think he's a standout player for them. They're fun to watch. So that should be a good matchup for him. Yeah, the Sword, and then they have a guy named Matthew, like a baby saying Matthew, like Matthew. Unless that's actually his name, then I kind of feel bad. I don't think it is. I think I've asked. I think it's just Matthew.
He's made it up. It's like
just
Chad.
Matthew.
He's just like I want to be Chad. That's me now.
Some people just want to be Chads.
Well, here we go. Brax drains a little bit of that mana from the Life Stealer. Those circular cogs.
Oh, he just got
you get
18 gold.
Yeah,
I don't think that was worth it at all for Brax.
This is some expensive mana burn there. Okay. Bounty runes, no fight. MSS gets one, and CCNC gets the other.
So it will be a carry
Timbersaw
lane.
mid.
And the carry lane tiny. Yeah, this is Timber versus Necro. I'm not sure we have many stats on that matchup. Now that I know of, maybe this has been played a lot in some crazy region like Antarctica.
All right, well, he goes for level 1 Heartstopper. I guess Heartstopper is actually pretty good against Timbersaw because you can drain him down without reactive armor. That's kind of cool. All right, we'll see. I have a feeling this will be a pretty even farm fest. It's kind of hard for Timbersaw to pick up kills in the mid. Not too many trees for him to jump to unless he goes all out Timber Chain, and even then it's kind of hard.
Yeah, it's all going to be about if anyone wants to roam middle with the smoke, like a Lich gets level 2 or a Lion, I think they can kill the Necro pretty easily.
Speaking of Lich, oh god, the Franz, he gets tossed back in from TC. Support's going to try to chase him down here. It is a Lich after all. He's rather speedy, but Pandago, Jared Fletcher drawing the first blood. That'll be an easy bottle for the energy ball. Very nice.
It's kind of funny if you've seen, I think Shazam's tried out 3 people now, and I think they've all 3 played in Canada Cup with them. It was Vlad, who's a Russian Wisp spammer, fucking Mad, who, I'm not sure if he plays Wisp, but then Pandago plays Wisp, so maybe they're like, well, we need a Wisp player.
There you go. TC getting aggressive under the tower here. Safe lane Tiny with a Bane. A lot of kill potential there. You've got an easy setup with the Nightmare, plus some extra burst damage with the Brain Sap. Once they get a set of Arcane Boots, there is really a lot of kill potential. It's a 2-1-2 setup from FDL. Lion will stay up top to babysit the Life Stealer, and right now it's just the offlane Clockwork. Brax up to some trickery here, just trying to steal some of the neutrals Already up to level 2. He's having an okay time. Getting zoned by the Lion now, but he's already picked up 6 last hit, so it could be a lot worse. Meanwhile, back in the Radiant Jungle, MJW, he's got a Scorched Earth here. He's going to hang on to it. He picks up the Bounty Rune. But Bane and Wisp chasing him down. Who's actually going to win this fight? He turns and starts laying some right clicks. The Infernal Blade takes Pandago to about half HP, and then he just walks uphill. There you go. And he loses his Clarity and Salve to the Ancients. Well done.
Yeah, that creep just ran by and aggroed the Ancient. All right, sure. And
That's...
yeah, but Scorched Earth, God, you have to have a lot of burst damage, even just early game to take down. It's crazy. 40 HP per second at level 7 when you get it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's nuts.
It's a lot of Ring of Health. That's more than you can actually buy.
Yeah, it definitely puts it in context. And just that
Oh,
first
he's going
point...
in for a stun toss back again. He gets it.
Oh, there we go. Right onto Franz. They've got the slow on TC, but are they going to have the right clicks from the supports? Another volley ought to do it. And there we go, Jason. Another one up on the scoreboard. It's a happy Bane.
Yep,
Damn, TC is on point tonight.
Yeah, he is. Those last-second tosses, but they work. And now the bottle on Pandago, and nothing like having a free bottle for your carry without having him to buy one.
Yep. TC has enough mana for a combo just about. You know, he's the pitcher. And Pandago's the catcher tonight. He's got his glove ready, just like, all right, toss the Lich in, let's go. They've been using the tether pretty well. Isn't it nuts to think that the tether used to have a mini stun on it?
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right, it did. That was insane.
It got the old sniper treatment, you know. Now it's just attack speed slow, movement speed slow, like shrapnel. But it used to be same deal, mini stun.
Yeah, I remember that now. That was...
Break TPs with it, dude.
Yeah, he was definitely a hero. I think we saw No Tail played like Wisp middle a game.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like he would just tether to creeps and like stun and get kills on her tout, man. Thanks for bringing up the bad memories.
Yep, sorry.
Doing good.
I didn't mean to trigger you, but oh god.
And Brax actually, I'm really surprised. He's level 4 at 4 minutes in. He is finding a lot top, and that's one of the good things about Clockwork. You can control a lane without actually being in it with the cogging whenever you want on your own creeps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's
I think
pulled
that's
it
really
back.
Underrated.
15 last hits now. He's really doing well. Much more than you would expect from the offlaner like this. And even on the Dire side, you got Doom with 11 last hits. That's less than the Clockwork. And they've lost the Lich twice. And it's a dual lane. So that's a pretty big advantage going the way of Shazam. If you look at the gold graph, yeah, it's about 750 net worth gain. Of course, experience going the way of FDL, compliments of the Lich, that nasty sacrifice. Pretty big impact in these early levels.
Yeah, it is. Especially, I mean, that was a pretty indirect buff to him when they made the ranged creep worth so much more than the melee creep, and he can just take it almost every wave. It was a pretty big indirect buff to him.
Yeah, it definitely makes a difference. I feel like if you play Lich at all, you can definitely feel it. If you always do the deny on the range creep, you level up super fast. It is still a 2v3, though. And they've been pretty aggressive so far. Maybe now the setup on the MJW. TC looking for the toss back. JW hits him with the fiery blade, and TC actually just walks back. Surprised he didn't try to drop the combo there. Like you were saying, Doom is pretty hard to kill when he has Scorched Earth, but...
Yeah, and Frost Armor, so TC can do like
true.
maybe one hit. Yeah, this one, I think Frost Armor, that was a really good pick versus Tiny.
Yeah, and the Ice Armor scales pretty well once they level it up, but even just level 1, 3 armor, sure, but it's that 30% movement speed slow and a 20 attack speed slow. That really hurts the Tiny. He already attacks slower than shit, so that really... It's like the nail in the coffin for that early extra damage.
Yeah, it is, and I mean, it's so hard, even early game, to push towers, even with like the IO on you. Oh, and this could be a big fight bottom, maybe.
Timbersaw coming on down. Pandago tethered up on the high ground. Jason, he is in deep. They're toggling around that Nightmare as he starts to rotate about, but the Chakram flies through, and Bane plays Sacrificial Lamb. FDL get up on the scoreboard. CC&C getting credit for that one. All the while, MSS just rotates up top, fills up that bottle with a bounty rune. Looking at the mid, it looks like just an even spread kind of farm fest here. MSS up by just a couple of last hits, but both of them feeling pretty good. Looks like the Timbersaw picked up the infused raindrops. Pretty good to have against the Necro. It seems like that's been treating him pretty well. Down to 1 charge, though.
Yeah, it is. I mean, 1 blast and it's gone, but it's not too bad. Does Heartstopper Aura affect raindrops?
No, it has to do a burst of 120.
Oh, it does.
So
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was, yeah.
I guess that's an interesting question, though. Maybe if you had enough Hearts of Tarask, it could tick enough to take it down.
It would have to be. Maybe we'll see it this
I
game.
don't know.
I don't know where we're even going with this. But yeah, MSS, I think the biggest thing is once IO Tiny or level 6, you just gank around with Reapers from Necrophos,
I
and
mean,
you're
they've
just
got
fine with
hookshot now. It's like as
Yeah.
soon as Braxy's 1 XP into 6, he's already rotating down. He's ready to try to set something up. Maybe on the Doom. Doesn't matter how fast you're going with Scorched Earth if you're locked inside the cogs. Easy Avalanche. Scorched Earth regen. Already at about half duration. They've got the damage this go around, and TC gets credit for the kill. Now the setup onto Lich. Nightmare's there. Brax has cogs in just a couple seconds, and I think Franz is going to go down here. Toss. One more right click from the Bane. They get the kill. It's a twofer. Great rotation from Brax. That's pretty much the dream. You get the clockwork in, and that's how you want to start it off with a hook shot.
Exactly. Ryan, like you said, 1 experience in the 6, rotates down, just gets a perfect hook on Doom, and then Bane sets up another kill on that Lich, and you're looking good.
Tranquil Boots up on Brax. All right, no bottle. He is pretty light on mana regen. I feel like they need some Arcane Boots.
Yeah, that'd be good. I'm surprised Bane, I mean, it looks like Bane's probably playing the hard 5. That is Jason's favorite role to play, and he's probably not going to have him for a while.
Yeah. Shazam do have a pretty scary 5-man, though. Maybe in another 5 to 10 minutes, once Tiny gets his first core item. He's about halfway to a Blink Dagger, pretty well into a Drum as well. Now that the Necro has his ultimate, they've got a lot of sustainability just as a 5-man between the Necro heal, the Brain Sap, and the Tether healing from the Wisp. All right,
Yeah,
TC, quite the tiny player himself, huh?
I mean, we saw it when he played it at Liquid at TI3. He played it a couple times. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I think Korok played too. They all played it. Man, that team could really rotate around heroes.
Yep. Lion getting some solo XP in the top lane here. Actually losing the battle against the creeps, but stanking.
It's a tough battle sometimes.
Yeah, dude. You got to watch out. Those melee creeps hurt. But he's getting that much-needed experience. This is an important time for Lion. Finger of Death opens up a lot more kill potential. Down bottom, we actually see an Infest Bomb come out. Open wounds onto TC. They toss the Lifestealer back. MJW caught by the Avalanche. MSS is rotated down. He's got a Haste Rune. It's just been popped as well. Hookshot actually connects onto the Lifestealer. Not enough mana for the cogs. Now MSS tossed forward. There's the Scythe. That'll be the end of the Lich. He's going to get that additional respawn timer set up. Only actually, what's the additional time? 10 seconds at level 1. Not that bad. I forgot they changed that. It used to be 30 at all levels.
No, it used to be insane.
Brutal.
You'd die at, like, you'd be a level 3 support and you'd be dead for 40 seconds. Like,
Yeah.
right when the Necro hits 6, you're like, oh, well, that sucks.
I think the scaling here makes a lot more sense. The 10 seconds, not too bad, but, you know, every second
Hurts
counts.
a little. Yeah, and I think MSS is doing a really good job. And he is top CS middle. And you're right, him and Timber have just been trading farm, and this could just come down to like a 20-minute push. Both teams are farmed, but no one has buyback, and whatever team wins the push just takes a base at that time.
I mean, a Necro getting this kind of farm is pretty scary. Honestly, I think that the weakness of this hero is that he's pretty weak early on. He's low armor. He's fairly low HP in those early levels, not very mobile. If you don't gank him and just let him trade free farm in the mid lane, paired with a Wisp, that's pretty damn scary. I mean, we've been talking about Wisp Tiny, but Wisp Necro is a combo that we've seen in the past. Was it TI5 era? You know, that was a pocket strat that we saw come out a couple of times. So there's a lot of scary potential here. Even just, the tethered up onto the Necro, he gets the double heal with the Death Pulse. There's some cute synergy there. What item build do you go for if you're MSS here, though?
I think he might just... He could go... I've seen Veil and I've seen Bloodstone. I've seen them both. I think he will probably just go straight Bloodstone. I could be wrong, but a lot of people say Mech, and Mech just isn't good on Necro. You don't have the mana pool. You're already throwing out your own heals, and I think he goes Bloodstone. It could be Blink first. Blink Bloodstone is pretty popular now.
I was thinking Blink Ags would have been my guess, but he
Oh, well,
actually
it
goes
was
Mech.
Mech.
Get
You son
destroyed,
of a
Grant.
gun. I feel like MSS just doesn't really understand the game as deep as me, and that can sometimes hold a player back. So
I mean, that clearly must be what it is, you know. But
I feel
you're
that's
right.
probably
MSS. He's
it.
going to walk up
What a
into high
grip.
ground, but the Lion. He's actually caught. Now they're going to relocate it. He's going to get Scythe before he can use his ult. They turn it around the other way. They'll get the Timber Soul as well. It's a great setup from Shazam. They shake him and they bake him. MJW now caught inside of the cogs. The Wisp's going to head back home, and they're going to make it a 3-0 double kill for MSS. Oh, boy. Well, there's his mech, and there's the Blink Dagger out on the Tiny. Talk about a great team fight for this Radiant team. That's almost a 2K net worth swing. That's a big one there, Grant.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing was we saw in the first match, not today versus FDL. FDL's smokes were part of the reason they won. They were always useful, while not today's kind of failed. And smoke gank there from FDL was perfectly countered, a perfect grip on the Lion to start that fight, and it was just a really good call by Shazam.
Yeah, really good positioning from Jason. Pretty clutch.
Go, Jason. I mean, still probably one of the unknown players, even though people have seen him a lot going against DC and Complexity. But he's one of the more underrated Super 5 roles that plays that I'm broke every game almost, except that one occasional game I'm not.
I'm broke.
The I'm broke role. It's a good role, especially in pubs.
Yeah. So while we have a lull in the action here, we're going to jump into our Soylent instant replay. Relive this gank on the mid lane. Lion comes in, is just about to drop the stun finger. Beautiful positioning from Jason, as we just talked about. Keeps MSS alive. He drops the scythe. He's got maxed out Sadist, so he just backs up, regens. They pick off the Lion, and then this ends up being an easy engagement for the Radiant team. Shazam. They're in control of this game now, Grant.
Yeah,
8-1.
Pretty well in control. Mid tower down. It's going to be hard for FDL to slow him down. They have an X. We haven't really seen much of. He has the armlet, phase boots, 1K. But, I mean, what can he really do? He goes on a Necro, and Feast doesn't do the most versus a Necro. Necro just keeps healing up. IO, it's going to be rough. They just need a perfect team fight with Doom.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think we've even... I mean, they have so much kill potential between Chain Frost, Doom, Finger of Death, Infest Bomb. I mean, they can basically blow up a target, even 2 targets if they get a couple of good Chain Frost bounces. And we just haven't seen it yet. Now in the top lane, hook shot in onto Stan King. Brax doing a lot of damage here. It'll force a TP, 2 in fact, make it 3. Brax, all he can do is hope for a kill here. Stan King walks back into him, actually dies to the battery assault. Brax will fall, but I think he's pretty happy to trade. That completes his blade mail. And of course, getting the kill before he dies, he does find all that yummy experience.
Yeah, he actually got that kill in smoke. I forgot battery assault hits through smoke and through fog, my bad.
Yeah.
And yeah, just gets the kill in top lane. Just Jason warding, I guess.
Yeah, Tiny's got
looking
the
for
blink
that kill.
dagger.
Yeah, he
He's
still
ready.
hasn't done anything with his blink. They've actually done more without the blink, and he wants somebody though.
Yeah. Blade Mail and Clockwork is so good. That's another hero that, I mean, Blade Mail was definitely buffed this patch with those changes, and Clockwork's a hero that really loves to go for an early Blade Mail. Well, maybe we'll start to see him come back a little bit more. I think he's definitely underrated overall. When you get a start like this, you can feel the pressure that Brax has been able to put on. He's got a 1-1-5 score right now. Pretty good for 15 minutes.
And Brax, he's a player. He's been to multiple TIs as well as a lot of these players in this game. You wouldn't really think about it, but by a lot of these players, I mean TC and him. Well, was MSS at TI4? Was he on? He wasn't on that Narvi squad. He was only on Narvi 2, right?
And I can't remember.
I believe so.
TI4.
I believe so.
I don't remember back that far, Grant.
No, okay. I just remember that was the Demon way too liquid, and they got like 9th place out of nowhere. It was pretty crazy.
Oh, yeah, you're right. They had that good run at that bubble race bracket. Definitely turned
that was
some heads. Yeah, I remember that. All right, I do remember back that far. There you go.
Oh, and look at Lifestealer. That is the bees. The late Midas. I mean, it's not even that late. He has armlet phase boots, and he's gonna have a 16-minute Midas to go along with it.
Okay, I definitely condone this. I always talk about heroes that benefit from the attack speed, and Lifestealer is definitely one of them. Just the nature of Feast, getting those extra right clicks in really adds up, and he spends a lot of time, as an infest bomb, just moving around. So the Midas helps you keep tempo, get that extra bit of experience. I like it on Lifestealer. I think it's a really good item, especially it's a good read here as well, given that this game is pretty slow, 9-2 at 16 minutes. Unlike the game 1 we saw, much more action there.
Yeah, I think pretty much Lifestealer just can't die. He can't get all this Midas farm, and then if he gives up like 1 kill to a Tiny or a Necro, they're going to be so rich off of that. And I mean, a Lifestealer can't really catch up. He's another one of those heroes like Void, just can't catch up that great.
Yeah, good point. I think Shazam both teams could afford to be a little more aggressive here. If Shazam have Relocate, Reaper's Scythe, and Fiend's Grip, they can find a kill pretty much anywhere. You know, they just need the scouting tool to find it. But speaking of scouting tools, smoke rotation through the bottom lane. Doom showing in the lane. CCNC just goes Timber Chain in. They infest bomb out. Uh-oh, they thought somebody was hiding there.
No, it was a wisp illusion.
Oh, okay.
They killed it. They got him.
Yeah, that's good. They popped the fake energy ball. Rocket coming on down bottom. Stan King gets a ward down. Now they'll get a little bit of vision. They see MSS, but can they kill him with the mech and the strength treads? He's pretty beefy.
He is, but he has to be careful by himself.
Yep, FDL finish off the tower. Last hit goes the way of the Lifestealer. And now Mojo gets himself the Blink Dagger. So Mech Blink as Tiny finishes off that tier 1 up top. So both teams just trading tier 1 towers. Now we'll see a smoke the other way. Shazam rotating through their own jungle. They're going to bump into somebody here. Brax hookshot in straight away onto Franz. Chain Frost could come bouncing out, and it does. Doom now used on Jason. He could live as well, though. MSS still holding on to the mech. He's going to save it for now. Toss onto Brax. Going to try to chase down MJW. Now stunned from the line. Connects on TC. Lifestealer laying in the right clicks. They'll relocate out. The mech from MSS keeps everybody topped off. So far, it's just a dead Lich, but Brax goes back in. He's got a Battery Assault and Stan King in a world of hurt. Tries to turn and drop the stun, but the Battery Assault interrupts him. And that'll be the end of it. Just a 2-0. Another good little skirmish there for Shazam. They only kill supports, but I feel like they really just had control. Really well orchestrated. They handled the Doom perfectly. Mojo didn't pull the trigger on the mech too fast, and they used the relocate to keep the Tiny alive. Very well done.
Yeah, I think it was just overall good team fight from Shazam, and they're just content with going back and farming a little bit. I think they just need to take over Dire Jungle. Once Radiant takes over that Dire Jungle, then FDL really becomes in trouble. That Midas becomes pretty useless, and that all they can farm is at their base. I think they just need to push that up.
Bloodstone up on Timbersaw now. 12 charges, baby. So you called the Bloodstone, Grant, just not on the right hero.
Yeah. Timber, man. I still remember it was like one of the first Timbers we saw in this patch again. It was in Freedom's Francis Lee or whatever, and he got that 40 charge Bloodstone. I've never seen a Bloodstone that high.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was a rough game. I forget who they were playing, but they didn't have a fun time.
40. Wow.
Yeah, I think it ended. It was 41 or 42, but it was over 40. It was insane.
I think I saw Smash with like 28 or 31 or something.
And that's insane.
That might be the highest I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't know how he got over. It was just kills on kills.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of those, I think, like South American team versus South American team, just bloodbath where he was playing like a Timbersaw just jumping around, going totally crazy. And one of those kind of games, you know. Tiny
Those are the best games.
Pretty close to the Aghanims here, though, Grant. This is great stuff for TC. He's taking over #1 on net worth. He's pretty comfortably situated there. Level 11 now. He's going to have that Whomping Willow and just another 1,000 gold.
Yeah, him and Necro are at the top, which is crazy, even against the Midas Naix.
Yeah.
And look at another smoke game from Dire. But they're not finding anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, Shazam just on the other side of the map. They're going to smoke back the other way now. Brax actually still smoked up. He's going to have a hook shot available. Does he go in here?
Oh, and the scan finds him. Scan finds Dire.
Gets a little bit of vision with the rocket. Just looking for the hook shot opening. Connects onto the Lifestealer. Here we go. Doom comes out on Brax, but he gets off the blade mail first as well as the cogs. They're healing him up. He does end up going down. Now the Chain Frost starts bouncing. Goes into the creeps. Jason, the next one to fall. It's a 2-0. This time goes the way of FDL. Shazam on the back foot here. They'll start to reconverge. They end up getting the kill on the Lion. Some return damage on CCNC, but he goes in hard. Now they've got the Reaper's Scythe. They'll have the damage to bring him down. Shazam level it out, and with the 3-on-3, they've got the regeneration advantage. TC goes back in, tosses back the Lich, brings him down low. MSS tries to chase him down, finds the kill. Now Doom with the fiery sword. Connects on MSS, tries to run out, but it won't happen. Avalanche toss combo. Shazam completely turned it around. Now the relocate forward. They want the Lifestealer. Stan King's back in the fray. He drops a Hex on TC, but again, the blink toss back. Boy, oh boy, TC's on point today. Stan King drops the finger and pops the Wisp. TC might actually lose this duel to the Lifestealer. It's a close one, but he does make it. MSS hops up, finishes off the Lion, and my God, It's one long, drawn-out team fight, but Shazam come out big. MSS, the big breadwinner, getting 1,200 gold out of that.
Wow. Yeah, we talked about that. That's the whole reason Necro and I are good in those big, drawn-out team fights. They just stay saturated with that sweet, sweet mana and HP.
Yeah, that's nuts. So Ags on the way for the Necro. He's about 400 gold off. Of course, Tiny has the gold for his now. This is great stuff for Shazam Grant. They're really feeling good now.
Yeah, it is. I mean, look at who they lost in the fight. They lost the Clockwork first to a Doom, and you are with a Necro on your team on a Wisp. You are happy with having him tank the Doom. Then they lost the just the Wisp near the end and the Bane, and the Tiny Necro just cleaned up.
Oh no, he nightmares the creep instead of the Doom. That's unfortunate.
He meant to do that, scare him away, because look at all those people that rotated.
Yeah, it's true.
Might have been fortunate. He baited it out.
What do you think about Doom's item build here? Tranquil Boots into pipe. Yeah.
It paid off that fight. The grip did nothing to anyone. They won the beginning of that fight. The problem is Shazam just kind of like they did it like a Roman cavalry. They backed up, they slowed down, they never got out of the fight, and then right when that pipe was down, they just ran back in and took it. Called the cavalry, the pikemen. I played Civilization a few times.
Yeah, that's good. And they're actually going to get a Hooded Defiance on CCNC. They're probably going to go double pipe here, it looks like. I don't know why Timbersaw would just hold on to a casual hood. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah, this
doesn't strike me as like a classic double pipe game. We're going to see Stan King get initiated on mid. Yeah, it's going to be an easy one. CCNC rotates, but not going to find it. I mean, they have some magic damage, of course. I guess it's good against Necro, right? You can double pipe and save somebody against Scythe.
Yeah, it's really good against that, but the problem is they're just not going to have really any damage. They're hoping on Timbersaw doing a lot of burst damage and the Nags being able to run free. The problem is, even that fight, the Bane died after he got a 5-second ult off on the Nags.
Yeah, that's true.
They just don't have damage. I think that's the problem for FDL, and we'll see. And look at it, Shazam's just fine. Oh, this could be a fight, though.
Yep, in comes the Doom, and Shazam actually just back out. That was a bold TP from MJW. If they had just sat there and jumped on him, I think he probably would have died before anybody from FDL could have rotated in, but he'll be fine. Surprise inside of the Timbersaw, moving across the map. You know, thinking about using the pipes that way to counter the Necro foes. You remember when Glimmer Cape came out and everyone said Necro was just a dumb, useless hero because Glimmer Cape counters his ult every time?
Yeah, and
what happened to that?
Was at a point. I don't know. I guess people just stopped. I don't know why they're not getting a Glimmerverse it, but
like that wasn't that long ago. I mean, it is good against it. I mean, it's typical. You know,
it's really good against it. Yeah.
Yeah. Overreact to how good things are, and also just the ease of execution. It's like, well, yeah, if you're standing right there with your Glimmer Cape off cooldown to save whoever Necro ults, it's good. But Necro's not always going to ult that obvious target just standing right next to you, waiting to be Glimmer Caped. You know, it's often more difficult than that.
Wow, I'm looking at Tiny. Has a Hyperstone now. He does a lot of damage, especially with that IO on him.
Mm-hmm. He hits hard and he hits fast now.
And the Clockwork. Man, I love that 4-staff. I remember, I think it was Bulbo did it first. The 4-staff Clockwork. You used to have so much positioning on your... Oh, and they just go on to MJW.
Yeah, Brax with a bold set of cogs here, but it's going to break up this fight a little bit. CCNC, the first one in. Timber Chain forward. Big damage on this Chalk Drum. So far, Shazam are healing through it. Now the Chain Frost comes out. Oh, the pipe keeps him alive through the Reaper. Pandago barely alive as well, but this Chain Frost is doing crippling damage. It's still bouncing. Max bounces across all heroes. Shazam are down 2. TC doing what AoE damage he can. Brax trying to return some as well. MSS comes in. They'll get the kill on Doom. MSS gets credit, so he'll get the regen to reset, but it's a 1-for-4. Huge fight for FDL. They'll hold that tower, and they'll feel the benefits here.
Yeah, they got another long grip off, but then the Chain Frost came in, and they had no that Chain Frost ripped apart. That was a game. That
2K damage on that
thing.
thing.
Yeah, it was a fight-winning Chain Frost for sure.
Well, the pipe definitely worked wonders there against the Necro ult. I think that's literally what saved him.
Yeah, it did. That's an Aghanim's Necro now too, so they saved a lot there by doing that.
Mm-hmm. Now FDL move into the tier 1 tower top. Glyph comes out. Shazam not going to be able to make a hold, but they will move up in case FDL continue into the tier 2, which they do not. Veil of Discord, next item for MSS. He says, I see your pipe, sir, and I raise you a veil.
Mm-hmm, the classic. Lifestealer going for the death, so this is just going to be I think these next upcoming fights are going to be written actually just bloodbaths of everyone dying but one hero.
Yep. And looking at the overall charts, FDL breaking this game wide open now. They've really leveled things out, both teams, with no tier 1s, but all tier 2s still standing. So there's just kind of this divide across the river where both teams are pretty happy farming in their own territory, and I think probably just going to see a few minutes of passive play here while they finish up this next round of core items.
Yeah, we might. Yeah, we saw a little slower earlier around the like 15-20 minute mark, and it's slowed down again after that one fight. Shazam's a little bit scared after. I mean, they were up by a pretty good amount, and they lost a fight, and they're like, well, maybe we need more farm.
Yep, and there's that Deso up on the Lifestealer. Shazam, are they actually going to be the aggressors here, Grant? They're grouping up in this bottom lane. Jason still holding on to an infused raindrop. Okay. I think that's actually bought him some time for those Fiend's grips in the past fights.
Yeah. Yeah, I think FDL's just too scary when they run as a ball of 5. So Shazam's just kind of like showing themselves, then farming, making FDL all rotate, and then just farming like jungle, top lane, mid lane. It's pretty smart from Shazam.
Yep.
Yeah, and then we just see Necro just denies the double damage rune and blinks out.
Yep. All right, things slowing down. Just the game of chicken here. Tiny's going to go for his AC, and I think Shazam just have the minor advantage right now in this kind of play style where both sides are going back and forth. TC goes in a little deep up top, gets hexed, gets doomed, the relocate out. That's a doom on cooldown. Wisp probably going to have to pay the ultimate price,
wow.
But TC
and the
will live.
siege unit got the tower though. That's a huge loss for FDL.
Yeah, down goes Pandego. And it takes a 4-hero rotation. So, but the point I wanted to make is that I think Shazam have the advantage just because they have the mobility. You've got this Clockwork who can hook shot around. You've got the relocating Wisp. It's a little bit harder for FDL to move around and take a fight. Shazam could take a fight that isn't really in their favor at the beginning, and then all of a sudden you've got to relocate, and it can turn into their favor. So they can afford to be a little more aggressive with their positioning, I'd say.
Yeah, agree with that. It's just this ice armor, I know we keep saying, but it's done so much work in team fights. He's had it up on like almost all 5 of them every time. So even when the Tiny goes in with that Hyperstone, his attack speed's so slow, and they're just taking very little damage because of it. Yeah, that's a really good pick.
Yep. Twitch chat did not like the Glimmer Cape suggestion, Grant.
What Glimmer Cape suggestion?
Necro. I think it seems like CCNC is just hanging on to a casual Hood of Defiance. That's really interesting. You don't see a lot of players do that. Not even just on Timber, just in general.
Yeah, I guess it's decent versus Necro, and really is. Heartstopper does way less, and Q does way less, and, I mean, his ult does way less, so why not, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll just keep saying I guess.
I guess, yeah.
I guess
he goes for the other lens next.
I guess.
Pretty good item on Timber.
Oh, and they scout out Roche with the rocket, and it looks like Dire is actually thinking about going in there. But now they can't, because they know the rocket was there, and yep, they're going to get spotted out. The rocket, I think, was still there, and they saw him.
They're going to go straight in, though. FDL, they have no fears about this. Another rocket just comes flying on through. They know exactly what's going on here. They see Timbersaw in lane. Oh, Brax catches him. Out come the Cogs, sets it up for Tiny. It's an avalanche toss combo, and they'll get a kill on the Timber. They've moved out of the Roche pit. FDL rotating down as if they want to take a fight. Remember, the Timbersaw does have a Bloodstone. It had 13 charges, so he is coming up pretty soon. MJW, super aggressive positioning, just gets jumped on straight away. Pops the Crimson Guard. That'll mitigate some damage. It's not even going to be close with the Reaper. Chain Frost takes a couple bounces. Now Franz will just be brought down, locked in place by the Cogs. Great stun from Stan King. Connects on TC and MSS. They'll use a drum charge. They want more. MSS goes in on MJW. TC throws him up in the air, but it's CCNC who's back in the fray. Fiend's Grip out on the Lifestealer. Jason doing what he can as he's got Stan King asleep. CCNC will wake him up, and it's not looking good for Shazam. All of a sudden, without their Tiny, they're running low on damage. They lose the Clockwork. Jason gets left behind. It's a 1 for 3 now. They did get the kill on the Timbersaw, of course, but after he's respawned, it's a big fight for FDL, and they move into the Roche pit.
Yeah, that just looked like an overextension from the whole Radiant team. Tiny and Necro blinked forward, and the Lifestealer and Doom just turned on him. They did a lot of damage. that
I mean,
Deso.
Doom's like super tanky now. He's got the pipe, a Crimson Guard, and a plate mail. So he's hard to kill across the board, especially when he pops that Crimson.
Yeah, he should have died right there, but a perfect Mac by ledge kept him alive just long enough, and he survived the whole fight.
Yep. So Aegis falls. Lifestealer the one to pick up the Aegis. He's now taken over as the leading farmer of this game. We were talking a lot of this. We were marveling at how well Shazam was farming on their leading cores, the Tiny and the Necro, and now the Midas is really feels like it's really starting to pay off for Lifestealer. He's got another 4,000 gold. He went for fairly low ticket items that allowed him to fight pretty early on. 3, 1, and 8 is his KDA right now. Pretty curious to see what item he moves into next.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of choices. What about he could do nope, he's going for AC.
Okay. Yeah, pretty
That's
safe
fine.
choice there. Yeah, can't go wrong with that.
And they'll have pipes, they'll have assault curses, they have mechs. All they need is a Shivas, which doesn't look like Timbersaw is going for, so they probably won't have that for a while.
Now, Grant, what do you think the chances are that once Brax gets this Ags, Shazam just go like unrelenting, non-stop team fight because he can just hook shot around and constantly initiate? Is that the key item for Shazam?
I don't really think it's a key item because we've seen. I mean, Brax is getting doomed every fight. I didn't think it was a good idea. I still don't know if it is, but he's been doomed the last 3 team fights, and if he gets doomed again, then his Aghanims is pretty much just useless.
Yeah, it seems like at this point the key for Shazam is really if MSS can get a kill with his Reaper's Scythe.
On anyone, yeah.
Yeah, if he can actually kill somebody and bring him down with it. Oh, Blink Hex from Stan King. But for Staff, MSS, they'll be okay. That's going to be the end of the Infest Bomb. Now they go in onto the tower. Glyph, used by Shazam. They're going to try and split push a little bit. TC up in the top lane with the Wisp nearby. They're going to shove this creep wave in and force FDL back that way. They pipe up, start to retreat.
Maybe see if Braxton picks someone up, but that's a good ward by the Dire side above the base right there. It'll spot if Brax tries to do anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, still a guy here.
And look at those. Look at the
out.
warding. FDL has 3 wards all over the map that spots anything, and Radiant is blind as a squirrel. If squirrels are blind. A blind squirrel.
Blind as a bat, I think is as the saying goes.
Well, because I was thinking of the other saying, even a blind squirrel can find an acorn now and then. Like when you're playing card games and you get a lucky play, you know? Did you never heard that one?
I guess. How do blind squirrels find acorns? They're just running around and eventually they
just
might
randomly,
just bump into one?
Exactly.
Okay.
Because that's the insult, because you're insulting someone like, you're not good at cards, but even you can play them if you got them.
Kind of like you throw enough darts, eventually you'll hit a bullseye kind of deal.
Yeah, or your friend in the head and he'll have to go to the ICU, and it's happened.
Darts are scary, dude. That's... Ooh. Here we go, FDL. Talk about unrelenting. They want to make use of this Aegis. They've got 2 minutes left. They'll finish off the Tier 2 tower in the top lane, and looks like they're going for high ground, baby. No Glyph for Shazam. And just as I say that, they back out and go the other way. All right, no high ground.
Ooh, but they are going to TP, and that's an X bomb, but he'll just get out.
Man, I'm surprised at how slow-paced this game feels. 35 minutes in, and both teams are just being so cautious about their movements. I mean, they are just playing good Dota, but oh, God, relocate mid. Just as I say that, they go for a huge aggro play. Doom comes out onto TC, but he still brings down Franz. MSS blinks in, finishes off Lion. He shows off his BOTs as he joins the fight. Wow. Shazam just come out of nowhere. Mojo, he's on a godlike streak, by the way. He's 10-0-4. I don't think we mentioned that.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. That is... He's having a pretty good game, and he's not dying. That's a big 2 for 0, and Line is down for a long time. You think they might want to like maybe pressure mid, pressure bottom, but they're happy just farming. I think Shazam's fine going to super late game.
Yeah,
Necro's super good, like with an Octarine and stuff, and I mean Tiny. Oh, Brax just hook in middle and creeps. I just like hearing the hook sound. Gets me hyped.
He's got a Mystic Staff, though. I wonder if MSS is going to go for a Scythe of Vice or something.
It's either Scythe, Shivas, or Octarine.
Yeah, maybe it is the Octarine. I guess that is pretty darn good on Necro. You get that ultimate cooldown super short. Spam out those death pulses.
You get double healing, double heals from death pulse. Well, it could be a Shivas. I mean, honestly, the armor versus net. Actually, it very well might be a Shiva's versus the Nyx. The armor is really good.
That's true. With the Desolator and Assault Cross, there's a lot of minus armor already, so that helps mitigate some of it. Well, most of it, actually. All right, things heating up here, Grant.
Yeah,
Drafts are strikingly even for 37 minutes in. It's a super minor lead for FDL. Both teams.
Yeah, they're down 10 kills, but doesn't mean anything.
They've just been split farming effectively. This game is all about the initiation. The Aegis is gone. Shiva's on the Doom as well as Basher on the Lifestealer. Okay, 2 big items for FDL.
Yeah, and even Timber just picks up a whole soul booster, so he almost has an Octarines with that axe. He is going to provide a lot of damage in fights. I'm actually if they get in a straight 5v5, this Timber Saw is going to dominate it easily.
Yep. All right, CCNC, he's got the Infest Bomb inside. Looking to make something happen here. He's got the Aghanim, so he can do some pretty big burst damage himself. Pretty far forward in the lane, though. Shazam seemed pretty suspicious that there could be some trickery afoot, and of course he does have his 2 supports right behind him.
Yeah, they're just waiting. Oh, Timber.
TC blinks out just in time.
I think that might have been on the on Biza. I think Biza had the AoE. His explosion would have done damage, and they would have stopped Tiny's blink there.
Crafty play from Shazam. They smoke. Brax goes in, hits him with the cogs. Avalanche toss combo only gets him down to about half health. CCNC survives. Now Brax taking big damage. Force Staff keeps him out. Chain Frost now going to start bouncing around. They've already used the Fiend's Grip. Jason and Clockwork going to get finished off. It's not the dream for Shazam. 2 down without buyback. This is a pretty good window for FDL. They don't have much creepilibrium. Well, okay, mid lane, they've got some creeps nearby. They should be able to siege high ground pretty effectively here, Grant.
Yeah, and it looks like they will. Especially the Nyx with the Deso, the AC, then that tower's just going to get ripped apart. It's going to be on this Necro, see what damage he can put out without dying.
Yep. Shazam just have to take better team fights than that. I don't think the Timber Saw is the target they can start on. They just don't have the burst damage to bring him down like that.
Yeah, it's going to be really rough. I mean, we saw the Timber Saw. He tanked a whole TC combo plus a few right clicks, and he was still above 50%. It's just, they don't have that much burst.
Yep. Well, it's not that devastating of a push from FDL. They chip at the tier 3.
They probably just want to wait for that next Roshan, maybe just play it safe. Not the dumbest move.
Not the dumbest, yeah.
Well, I meant that in like a comment. I think it's a sort of smart move. All right, come on, you can't call me on that.
Well, we'll see what the timer looks like on that Roche coming up soon here. Timbersaw jumps out. Shazam looking to be aggressors here. Rotating through their own jungle. Doom, no
They have
blink
a ward
dagger.
on them.
Could get left behind here. Tiny. TC thinking twice about jumping in. Oh, man. Wow, that's nuts. Shazam were the aggressors. They went out, had an opening, and went, Then they just back off. That's it?
Yeah,
Okay.
Shazam is... They're playing on their back foot. FDL is now coming along, and I said the late game is in Necro and Tiny's favor, but I just realized they just don't have... Like, Shazam will win a long, drawn-out team fight. The problem is they're not long, drawn-out anymore. The Timber and Nyx are just killing the supports in mere seconds, and the Lich's Chain Frost is making them scatter.
Yeah. The Chain Frost has played a big role in all of these fights. It's either done a lot of damage or the positioning has still been pretty crippling to isolate heroes for the Nakes to try and pick off. And you're right. I mean, he's at critical mass now. He's hitting for over 300 per right click, plus all that feast damage, plus all the minus armor and bashes. They're going to smoke up Infest Bomb inside Stan King. And Timbersaw, well, he's got a full Octarine. Who are they going to grab here? Could be Big Tiny. Nope, it's Pandago. Glimmercape buys him some time, but they destroy the Bane in a matter of seconds. Tiny just TP's home. Pandago trying to juke around in the tree line. Actually dodges the stun. Oh, he hops across with the tether. But there's the Blink Hex, and I don't think Pandago lives through this one. Or,
well?
wait, what? Okay. Nope, Lion's got the stun. Okay.
What in the world is going on here?
All right.
Looks like they're finally going to get him. But...
He's got the Hex. And they kill the Wisp. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Clockwork's died. Now they're going to go in onto CCNC. God, this guy is tanky, though. MSS has the damage through the Hooded Defiance buff. And that'll be the end of the Timbersaw. 70 seconds.
Yeah, he's still only dead for 70 because that bloodstone though.
Yeah.
So well, they finally get a kill. They have not had a kill in a long while. They needed that just as a buffer even.
Yeah, absolutely. Still not feeling so good for Shazam. It's like they've just lost all control of this game. I don't know exactly when it happened, but all of a sudden, it's just like the Timbersaw, Lifestealer, everything has come together for FDL. Now, even this Doom, he went from being kind of underwhelming with just a pipe to this just mobile damage mitigator, basically.
Yeah, he runs at you. He has armor. He has Crimson Guard. He has everything. And you put a lot onto him, and you just do nothing to him. Him and the Timber.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a sheep on the Necro.
There you go. Wow. I'm actually a little bit surprised. Seeing how these fights have gone, I thought the Octarine would, just for the extra stats, would be the choice. But I guess that actually does make sense, too. They're having trouble extending out these fights, and the Hex is a great way to just keep somebody locked down so they can't be bursted. If you can catch the Nakes before he rages, it can also be a great tool to put pressure on him. And, you know, if you can do enough damage in that 3.5-second window, you can set up for a Reaper's Scythe. It's pretty big.
And this could be the big fight right here.
Yep, moving into the Roche pit. Roche still pretty healthy. They're going to go straight in, right onto the Lifestealer. There's that Hex like we were talking about. Can they get off the site, though? No, they can't. He'll rage. Big AoE stuns on FDL. Pandago takes a finger, but he'll stay alive. The Lion's actually the first one to fall. Doom's been used on TC, forced after the high ground. He's now isolated. They'll lose the Wisp, they'll lose the Tiny, and the Necrophos. It's not the fight Shazam wanted. MSS will actually buy back for this. Roche is still standing with about 1,000 HP. Brax trying to make the getaway, but he'll fall. Bane suffers a similar fate, and this buyback from MSS looks like it won't do a hell of a lot. FDL finish off Roshan, and that's an Aegis going their way, as well as a huge team fight. 6K net worth swing. My God.
Yeah, that was, like we said, the Lich got a Chain Frost off, and it did like 3,000 damage in a matter of like 3 seconds. All 3 heroes were just standing in front of the pit, and they ate a lot.
That was just brutal. I mean, after a fight like that, can Shazam win this game? It feels like FDL now just basically have to not screw this up, and this game is theirs. They're going to do some damage here. They're going to force another buyback. Tiny has
tower,
one.
though.
He wants to hold it, though.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing, it looked like MSS, I mean, if he ulted right there, I don't think he would have gotten the kill. As well, there was a Lotus Orb, I believe.
Oh, was
Lotus
there?
Orb? I feel I saw one, maybe not.
No.
No, it was
You're
just
full
okay.
of it, Grant. You're full of it.
I really am. It was just the Crimson Guard and the Lotus Orb looked the same, kind of. I'll blame Icefry on that one.
Yep. Colors.
Needs better animations. I feel in Warcraft 3 they're a little better, and he's just gonna run in. Wow.
Here we go. 15 seconds until that Reaper's, or pardon me, Fiend's Grip is up, but they dropped the Reaper's Scythe just to kill the Aegis. Not really ideal. They had to do something as Lifestealer just comes in. He'll rage to finish off the melee barracks. Now FDL kind of got what they came for, and they will back out. TC blinks forward, tosses back MJW. Nice stun from the line to break up the fight. Brax, Cogs onto CC and C. He has to force staff back, and now FDL actually want to take this fight. They go in onto TC. A couple heroes without buyback here. This could be huge for FDL. Feed script from Jason. Locks down the Lifestealer, but he takes the finger. He falls, and this Timbersaw is just doing huge damage. Now the Chain Frost bouncing around MSS, the lone survivor, as Shazam basically get wiped up again. 4 in the grave. The Tiny has a buyback, but the other 3 don't, as FDL just rotate back to this Tier 3 tower. Man, FDL are looking to leave the base too there, Grant. Shazam said, hey, we want to fight, and it did not go the way they hoped.
Yeah, it didn't. I was correct. CC&C did have a Lotus Orb, so I wasn't crazy.
No, he just picked it up after the fight, didn't he?
Are you positive?
I saw it pop up after.
Are you willing to take this bet?
I would say 93%.
All right, I'll take the 7. Yeah, but FDL, I don't know. They got way better items. They had heroes that could do a lot more after team fights. And look at this. They take a team fight. They have every single aura in the book, and they just take a fight and take the base.
Yeah, I was gonna say Shazam. We just read this book. We saw how it ended. But this time they don't commit out of the base. FDL just back out, happy with their spoils. Couple of Radiant buybacks on cooldown, 2 lanes of barracks. They are just 1 step away from winning this game now. It's a massive golden experience lead. About 25K a pop.
Yeah, this is pretty nerve-wracking. We talked about it last game. FDL is not one to get flustered. If they're in the lead, they're just gonna go back. They're not gonna feel pressured to go for that last set of racks, and they're just gonna sit back, farm it up, and then take a fight when they want.
Yep. And just a reminder, the bets are what? 84% in favor of Shazam, so that's going to be
I
fun.
remember. I told people, I was like, with the stand-in, it's a lot closer than people think.
Yep.
FDL.
Can't wait to read Twitch chat after this one. That's one of my favorite parts about Dota 2 Lounge.
I'll kill everyone on Shazam and their families. Oh, okay. Probably shouldn't, but...
Take it easy there, buddy. It's just an Arcana. Worth a real value.
The people who bet like the 6-cent items, oh, I need it. my plank hat on Witch Doctor.
No, I gambled my dreaded dreads again. Oh, jeez. Here we go. Shazam, they're smoked up. They're ready to fight. They're feeling the heat, and this is kind of YOLO mode. Big risk here. Might not be a high percentage play, but they got to do something.
Yeah, they're definitely in the back seat. They're not in the driver's seat, that's for sure. They're not even shotgun right now.
No, unfortunately, they're not going to find much. FDL with the same idea. They're smoked up in the bottom lane. They've got the surprise inside the Lion. 18 Bloodstone charges up on old Timbasol. How are we looking on BOTs here in terms of buybacks? Looks like Timber, the only one with BOTs, and MSS, the only one for the Radiant.
I can't believe Timber has died 3 times with his Bloodstone, and he's still at 18 charges.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. He's been involved in pretty much all these kills, it feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12
and he is
assists.
pretty much, he is maxed out. And if he wants to sell that Hood of Defiance for something, maybe even a sheep himself, or he could just be good with this. He's like, I'm good. I'll just save up 30,000 gold and keep that Hood because it's been saving him quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, the Hood is just so good against the Necro like we talked about. I think Scythe is one of the few items you could replace it with that's a big upgrade. They have a Shiva's already, right? Yeah, on the Doom, so it doesn't need that. Yeah, I mean, what else could he go for here? You could upgrade it to a pipe, obviously, but somewhat underwhelming.
They're probably hoping they win the game next team fight. He doesn't have to
Actually,
put forward that
look
knowledge.
at this. They've got 2 Glimmer Capes, pipe, and a Hood of Defiance. That is some serious magic resistance. I like their dedication to magic resistance.
Oh, they hate magic more than AM does, it looks like.
Yep. Channeling their inner anti-mage here. All right, FDL. Is it time to strike? Can they just take a straight-up siege of the high ground?
Yeah, they probably could. They're definitely more of a cautious team, and it's worked out for them in a lot of games, so... MJW just sitting here invisible. Uh-oh, he might break Brax's smoke. No.
Close call. Oh, man. The tensions are building. Both teams getting antsy here, Grant. Almost as antsy as the casters.
Almost as antsy as my pantsies. They're circling Roche.
Oh, look out. Tiny's picked up the crossbow. The feared Daedalus.
Oh, he had a last fight, too.
All right.
Well. It didn't do too much versus all their armor. I mean, just the stacks of armor they have on every hero, it's just not doing anything. Which is crazy to say. A Tiny with the Daedalus and a Assault Curse is doing nothing.
Oh, God. They're just going to smoke on in. Let's take a look at Radiant Vision here. They see it now. Doom comes out onto TC. Pandago gets juiced to start off the fight. Now Tiny stunned up. The finger from the Lion. The Proctologist is in town, baby. It's a 3-0. And that'll be it. Shazam calls it. FDL takes game 1 of this best-of-3 series here in Canada Cup Season 7.
Yeah, and that's just...
Wow.
I mean, we saw Shazam. It felt like, again, FDL did the same thing, just like the last game. Versus Not Today, the other team goes up, what, like 10 to 2 kills? And then FDL just patient, and dissecting them, being surgical like a surgeon. And they just come back. And look at Biza, 20 fantasy points. He had a pretty good game.
Yeah, that's actually pretty insane. Only 1 death. Mojo, pretty good showing himself, 11-1-5. That 1 death came at the very end of the match, but the Necrophos, it just didn't hold up. In the end, that Timbersaw got too big. A lot of interesting picks that game, though, Grant. A lot of fun. We'll see what they have in store for Game 2, folks. Stick around, because Shazam versus FDL Game 2 coming up after this short commercial break.